I never played. The only place I played was at Trinidad. The time there was the umpire. I played on turf there, but we never had turf.
So, with that one experience and the Bermuda experience, which one did you like, the turf or the concrete?
Oh, I like the concrete.
The concrete.
Yeah,
What else has changed? What did the players do for preparation there? Anything special? To prepare for the match? No.
We did plenty of training. To be a clip catchers and whatnot. I think that's the reason I was so good at catching. We had to take a barrel and cut it half in two and put the barrel, there's a round barrel, just put it in, you throw the ball and it hits the ball and it goes all over the shoes. And then I had at home at night, at evening, I'd take a rubber ball and bang it against the house and catch it. Bang it against the house and catch it,
So people in those days must have, especially in the early 40s, come by train? Did you ever
Oh, yeah.
Down to
And no, we had by boat.
by boat?
From
Somerset down to St. George?
St. George. What happened, you stay all night down the St. George Hotel. The cricketers would stay all night. Go down the night before and you stay.
Did you get paid? Cup match players?
Did we get? I don't think we got paid. Just prizes and whatnot.
What were the spectators like?
Oh, I remember they used to decorate themselves with colors those times, running all on the field with ribbons and whatnot, the red and blue and the green, light blue and dark blue from St. George's, and screaming all over the show. But people used to drink more. Now the people drink beer, but you didn't see. But those times you saw drunks, I mean.
And fights?
Yeah, fights.
And you mentioned if you didn't come across the bridge, you couldn't get in the team.
Yeah.
Were there any other players who were very, very good who applied that didn't get in that you remember?
I remember Alden Gilbert played. He played before me, too. But he was in, I think he played with Western Stars, But he had Somerset roots. See? So he played a few years for Somerset.
What about guys like Cheesy Hughes, who they were clearly not, couldn't get in? But then they did let him in.
Well, they came in after Charlie Dolphin, Cheesy Hughes, and all those guys came in. That has stopped. Mackey, Mackey was some brilliant. Mackey played with me. I brought him in my team.
Who were some of the players you feel were really outstanding in those days? That really stick out, that you admired, you thought, excellent catcher, bowler, fielder?
Well, for bowling we had Eugene Wood, but he played professional cricket in England, and he and Charlie Dolphin was about the two best pace bowlers I've ever come across. But the number one was Clarence Parker. I played against him at my age, and he got all 10 wickets. I was captain of the other, they saw some of his peers, and we still beat him. He got all 10 wickets, we still beat him. Buck Woods was the one that he and Boy Edwards bowling right, Yeah, because he was a good bowler.
Did you have a favorite field or a field you disliked playing at? No. They're all the same?
All the same.
What about preparation for the match? You talk about throwing the ball with the barrel and against the wall. Did you do anything? What did families do to prepare for the match?
Families?
Yeah, families. What did families do if they were
preparing their picnics, lunches and whatnot they were going to have.
So people would show up with a packed lunch?
Yeah. And then we had hot dog things selling around the field. But it wasn't like today. Today it's so much more elaborate.
So your cup match career went from 42 up until
52.
52, and so you captained Somerset twice.
No.
You captained Somerset how many times?
Just one cup match.
Just one cup match.
I captained the whole season up to the cup match, but then the English team came here in 53, and they picked somebody else for the 53rd year.
And what was your most memorable cup match that you played, the one that stands out as a player?
Well, I think it was the first one, when they first gave them 2-1, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one, too, that I remember down at St. George's, that Ammon was captain, and Reggie Rayner and, what's his name, Darrell Clifford, were opening bets for St. George's. And Ammon opened up, I forget who he opened up there, I think it was Lloyd Simmons. And the first change, the next over, he put me on the board. And I'm a spin bowler. I like the ball when it's worn a bit. Difficulties, hold that ball. And Clifford Darrell, I remember, hit me straight over my head for 6. Then they got a 1, they got Reggie Rayner down there. Reggie was a blocker, yes. And I bowled him. And the last ball there was clean bowling.
Oh, jeez.
Amber said, thank you very much, that's all I wanted, break the partnership. And Clifford went on and made 88. His brother Sheldon made 50-something. Couldn't get those 2 out. Amber brought me back on the bowl, and I got both of them. Jeez. So I got the prize, the best bowler in cup match, yeah. Oh, I got those 2 out. And the Reggie Rayner was another, so I got 3 for 20, you see. Yeah.
What was club life like at that time? Was Somerset Cricket Club a vibrant club, active club, or just a quiet club?
Yeah, but when I was first joined, you see, the club was down by the Naval Field. The old building there, that was the club there, yeah. But I noticed that in those early years, the guys that played cricket played also top billiards. Ammon, Champ, Proctor.
ECUs were all billiard players.
Good billiard players.
Why is that? What's the connection?
So that's what they used to do in the winter time, play billiards.
Okay.
It wasn't in football. Somerset had a football team too, but it wasn't.
But that's an interesting point, because I didn't know that. I thought it was, I knew of Cheesy because I've interviewed.
But Cheesy is late.
It's late.
It's late. I'm talking about Sam Paulie Smith and the Proctors and even Bruce and Simmons. Yeah, good for you. See, then we had tournaments. We played down at Warwick every year, Warwick Workmen's Club. Was it Richards Cup, was it? With 2 or 3 clubs used to play every year. That kept up for years. And then we had 2 billiard tables up at Somerset Cricket Club. I don't even know where they have one now. There's a big table and a small table. So there were 2 tournaments. You could take a tournament on the small table or a tournament on the big table. Afternoons after work, these fellows were up there playing billiards. That's what we did, and cards, of course, but mostly billiards.
So you retired from cup match cricketing what year?
Well, I finished 1952.
52. And then you just continued with league cricket?
Yeah, I played out there, captain the league.
Up until what year? 60s?
I played till I was 50. I mean, I played, I remember I was captain of the Somerset Bridge B team playing against Western Stars, and the last man to come in was Aaron Mendes. Now, Aaron went 13 the same day. So I now remember it was one of our bowlers, the fast bowlers, said when he came in, give me the ball, give me the ball. I said, no, you only want to hurt this little boy. Give me the ball. I took it and just blew my leg breaks and just struck it. Played for draw. Let it very good. I always remember that Aaron was 13 years old. He came out there. And he developed into a top player. Yeah.
What was life like at Somerset Bridge? Because you were active there as well.
Yeah, but I was mixed up in all sports. Football, because we had 2 football teams that really played good football. Somerset, I think it was 11 years before Somerset beat us in football. Top team. And then a softball. So you see, we had the base next door. The base used to play baseball down at Royal Field. And then they played softball. So we learned how to play softball through the base. And that's what we played. We played our league matches there, and we'd play on the base as well. And then we go and Davids, and they played down there. So we had a really, really good team. Harry Hunt, he was a top footballer as well, softball. Tony Philpott, and we had a good time. And then we had a couple of chiefs from the Navy, Chief Head, Chief Head. He used to play baseball with the Black Colored League in the States. So he knew how to play baseball. So he used to come out and coach us. So what little bit I learned from him. Then we went on to the girls and everything.
Did you hold office in Somerset?
Yeah, I think I was about 20 years down there as a secretary.
As a secretary?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that, when you look back now, when do you think the sort of change came where the club was very, very active and now it's been experiencing some
the problem. Drugs and all that kind of there. I haven't been mixed up in it for quite a few years now. From the sideline I tried to help, but it's a different membership now. You know, when I was a manager, they respected you more. You know? They tell them to do anything. I never forget one time we had a show in the old club, which is the old railroad station across the river. And we had something when I came down on duty, came down to just have a look, make sure everything's going okay. And this young boy come down and he was cursing all over the show. And I'm in uniform and I came up beside his head, record, one big hard slap. And he's about 16, 17. And that guy today is a perfect gentleman. That's right there and then.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it today. You couldn't do it. The big gang. Or his mates would probably want to come in. But this time, see, they respect the police. If I told them don't do this, they wouldn't do it.
Now, Mr. Roberts, when did you get married?
Oh, I got married in 1937.
37. So, what was the name of your wife?
Valeria.
And where did you meet her?
In Sunday school. We all went Sunday school together. Went Glebe together. And they call her register, because they call her register every day. She was an Anderson. And her name was the first on the register. Mine was Roberts at last. So we started from there. Sunday school, church, and something like that.
So in those days, how
That's not my wife, not her.
You've been married twice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, little girl doesn't need
okay, well, the first one. So, how do people court in those days?
Well, we went upstairs as I used to court. There to go over to her house, sit out on the porch, and do our courting, then dress all up. Of course, I always remember, I wrote to Mr. Anderson, her father, and told him I was in love with his daughter, and whether I could visit. So, Mrs. Anderson, I was over there once doing something, and she said, look, Peter's not going to write you back yet. You have to go, he's inside now, go inside and ask him now. He stood 6'2". He used to be a bouncer in town before he became a Christian. He used to take a broom and put an 8-pound weight on it, and you try it sometime, and hold it. And he sang bass. So I had to go to Mr. Anderson. I had to go into it and approach him and ask him if I could visit his daughter. And he said, all right, go ahead and behave yourselves and get married.
Just like that.
That's right.
So, how long did you court?
Well, I guess it was about a year. Yeah.
And then you got married?
And I got married.
And did you still live with your grandparents, or you moved out?
No, I stayed there until I had my own house, my grandfather's house. My grandfather was there. No, grandpa died in 45. He's 93. Yeah,
So
95.
how many children did you have with your...
Three.
Three.
One girl and the two boys. My daughter died and she was 11. Yeah.
So your wife, first wife, passed when?
1986.
And then you remarried when?
1987. It was, yeah.
1 year later.
And by that, she is my first wife's niece.
I see. Okay.
She married, I don't know whether you know the Burns.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she married Archie Burns, and they lived in the States. She was up there for 28 years.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. But I knew her from school days.
So when you look back at your life now, how would you sum it up?
Well, I think I've been blessed. I think I had a good time, although I lost my first wife, but the Lord gave me so fit to give me another one, just as well, a Christian girl. Yeah. She was not divorced. Her husband died in her arms, really, in the supermarket up there. And she was up there with two children for 10 years before I came along.
So you feel you were blessed? I mean, you've been a Mason, you've been
I've had
a great life.
Never been really sick. I guess I went up to Leahy a couple of years ago and broke my leg, but this part has been all right.
All right.
No pains and nothing like that. Yeah.
And now that you look at sport in Bermuda, what do you think? The current state of sport in Bermuda? Cricket, football, other things, track.
When I was talking to my son Mel a couple of days ago, I said, look, when they come down to cup match, we had at least 5 practice games, and you selected your team from there. This time, if Somerset has one, St. George is only slippy in a few, but if Somerset has one practice game, that's about all. Because the games, you got the league, you got the 2-day matches, and you got the 1-day matches. It's not much time. But you see, we played 24th of May with St. Davis. That's a must. Queen's birthday, the 3rd of June, King's birthday. With another holiday, all holidays, we played cricket. We played practice matches. But nowadays, you can't get these fellas to play. They want time off to do whatever they want to do. They're not going to sacrifice a game. But I mean, I love cricket. You know, I've traveled so much watching cricket and learned a lot about it.
Have you ever received any honors?
Just that one. Sports award.
Oh, sports award.
Yeah.
What about any honors from either of the clubs, Somerset Cricket Club?
From Somerset Bridge. Yeah, they made honorary member. Yeah.
Are there any other aspects of your life we haven't talked about? Because you said you didn't join any lodges. Just those 2 clubs you were a member of, Somerset Cricket Club, Somerset Bridge.
Yeah.
And anything else that took place that stands out in growing up in Bermuda, or even building homes or things like that?
Well, that was the police force, of course.
Yeah. Tell me about your life in the police force. How long were you a policeman?
26 and a half years.
In the Somerset area?
Yeah, most of my time was spent in Somerset. I spent about 2 years. I went to town to relieve somebody. And you should have seen me. I didn't know number 1 shed was. I went to the wrong shed looking for it.
And that was because in those days people didn't go to town a lot.
No, town. One time there was an attempted riot, a riot or something like that. Hamilton's Hotel burning down there. But other than that, yeah, I joined in 1944. After being in the Home Guard, you know, the war was on. I joined the Home Guard, and I was made corporal in that. We used to go to Daniel's Head on duty at night, and then I decided to join the police force. So I applied. Amon Hunt was another one here in Corey. So I joined, and things are so different this time than what they are now. I mean, you just joined the police. I went down in the Hamilton police station. They gave me a book, go in the backyard, in the back room, and read it. Now, what's more... this is...
That was your training?
Yeah, that's my training. That's all. Reading this stupid old book. Didn't have an interest in it anyway.
Right.
Anyhow, next day, come to Somerset and put me in charge of the district.
Wow.
District constable. The only thing, the advantage I had, I was good in writing.
Right, right.
See, I could handle that. So if I take a statement, I knew I'd take a statement. And so they helped me. They kept me down there. I was there for quite a few years. And then another time, when I was in Somerset, Percy Miller, he just died a year or so ago, he was superintendent. And when he came up, well, one of the inspectors was going away the next week. And nobody knew who was going to be in charge of the press. Well, before then, I was made sergeant because I remember I was down at the Somerset cricket field. We were playing a game down there with the police. I used to have the police stand too. But before then, they sent up a notice on daily order saying, sergeant exam's going to be tomorrow. That's all. That's the preparation. Tomorrow, sergeant exam. So Carl Simmons, who just died last week or two, Malcolm Simmons, Dr. Simmons' father, he was on the force, and he said, I said, Carl, you can take the course? He said, nah, man. I had no training. I said, I'm going to take this stupid thing anyway. So I took the course. And I was down in the naval field playing cricket, and one of the fellows said, Constable Gill, white chap, him, hey, Robert, you're made sergeant. So then, getting back up now to when the Percy Miller comes around, somebody's inspector boy was going away. Who's going to take over? Nobody knew. So he comes and tells me, Robert, you're taking over tomorrow. Taking over the Western Division. That's from Dockyard to Inver Hotel. I've got to prosecute and make up all the summonses, making sure that the charges are right, and take over the whole Western Division for 9 weeks. So I did that. Then it came again, and somebody went away for 6 weeks, and I did it again. So I was still just sergeant. So when it comes down now, they had them, they had them, what was another head? Inspectors. They were going to, I knew. I had the commissioner, new commissioner came up now. I can't remember which one it was. So he said, Robert, what's your resume? So, well, hey, I've been on the force so many years, and I've done this and done the other. You know what I forgot? I forgot to tell them that I had been in charge of the Western Division twice for 9 weeks and for 6 weeks. I forgot to tell them that. They called me up, bad. And you know, I wasn't made up. That was in 1971. I wasn't made sergeant. I'm 50 years old now. So I talked over with Inspector Nixon, Joe Nixon, and he was saying, well, listen, Robert, when I get 51, I'm leaving. So it looks like they're not going to give you permission. You know, it's up to you. But I went to England, and I was over there for 6 weeks or something like that, and I put in for a course as I was over to Bermuda, where they send the policemen now. I couldn't make the arrangements, too late. And I was paying my own rate. These other fellows down there, they were sending them away there, man. Like now, these fellows go away early.
So you think, was it a question of race?
You know, the policemen, my friends, they said they made me sergeant because I was fair.
So did you experience any racism in Bermuda in those days? Outright racism or? People just knew their place.
Yeah. And there's times more white people in the summer than there is now. You know, so we've got even just a couple of days ago, somebody was jumping into me, asking me how everything, remember saying such and such. We were pretty friendly. Yeah.
But did you experience any racism while you were growing up? No, not that you remember.
Not that I
People
remember.
just did what they had to do.
But
And it was
because there's a lot of people now equal, so poor people, and especially whites. And some of the same poor people.
So you basically just understood that there was a white society and a black society. You just did the best you could with what you had.
Right. You'd have some to your homes, invite some of the whites to your home.
But it wasn't a big issue.
No, I don't remember.
Why do you think it's a big issue now?
Well, people, I think the education side of it is coming in now. People are going away and being educated more, and especially in the United States, anything they do is right. Should be copied on. Yeah.
Any big cases come up while you were a policeman? That stand out?
Let me see, Buck was hung.
You were still a policeman then?
I was still on leave. Because I remember I was in, Buck used to be orderly at SOMERSET station. He was coming to clean up every day. And I got on with pretty good, you know, until he was convicted. But I was down the West Indies, during the time of the murders. And when I came home, I had to go up and be interviewed, thinking whether or not I had anything against the commissioner who was killed.
So any other cases that come up? What were some of the main offenses in those days? People were getting...
Driving without a light.
Driving without a light was a big thing.
26 and some offenses act. Sticks out in my mind. In fact, I was reading a note I had in the recorder there yesterday. Recorded way back in 1920-something. About these little kids riding without a light, when auxiliary cycles came out, riding without proper brakes and all this. Nowadays, big difference, isn't it?
So when you look at Bermuda now, what do you think?
I think we're something like the States. We're all mixed up. See, as I said earlier, education came in. People are more educated now than they were then, but some of them are using it the wrong way. Like you say, even this morning's paper, this boy got a year. What's his name? Bascom, yeah. And what did he do? He said he should have a right to smoke or use this stuff. Yeah, that's the difference. We had a little more on a problem in SOMERSET, I know, but it wasn't that bad. Yeah.
So you did serve when drugs started to come into...
Drugs started coming in, yeah. In fact, we had a plant in the sergeant's office, inspector's office, showing you what a plant looked like. And some boys, but I lived over there, just the next hill over, some of these kids had these things planted down near my house. and one of the neighbors, one of the friends of ours, told me about it. He pulled them all up.
So, tell me some of the countries you've traveled to and your favorite.
Let me see, well, my favorite is Africa. But I spent...
Which part of Africa?
Zambia.
Enjoy Zambia.
I enjoy Zambia. Still got friends. Here's the pictures all up on the wall. I first went to Zambia with Brother Carl Simmons.
Oh, yes.
In 1986, it was, 16 of us went down. Went to a place called Membalima, and along the Liverpool River. And we stayed there. In Harrods, we split up. I stayed in the mission, my wife and I, and then others stayed all around. And then we went down to the game park. We were on southern it is what it used to be. And we had a nice little time there. And I remember sitting in a room, a little knock one